Okay, this tutorial is not only about how to draw this shower knob here, we're also going to explore a couple of different things in this drawing. Okay, so the first of which is that you'll notice that there are different elements here. We've got our dimensions, we've got center lines. This is called a pitch circle diameter. Basically what it means is that there's elements that are located upon this circle diameter, right? And a pitch refers to the fact that they're on here and they're separated. It's not a real good explanation, but anything more accurate would just be confusing at this point, so we're going to leave that. There are also center lines here, and these center lines identify the center of this circle and more generally this object, including the PCD. Alright, so I'll just click off that. It can be useful to manage your drawings using things called layers. So the layer drop down is here, like so. Okay, so this drawing has 3 layers. Four. Layer 0 is the main layer that has the actual drawing on it, and you'll see that its color is white. There's the annotation layer. Annotation is the measurements and the diameters and all of that stuff. And then finally the centers, like I alluded to before, these pitch circles and the center lines here that run through the center of this object. Sometimes it can be useful to have a construction layer as well, which I haven't done in this case, but may do later on. Alright, so let's start. Actually, we'll bring up the layer dialog box so you can see it in more detail. So this is the layer properties manager. You can see here. Actually, I want to expand this out a little bit if I can so that you can see it better. Alright, so let's expand these fields. Within the layer properties manager, you can see the color of the layer, and you can change it simply by clicking on the color and selecting the one that you want. I use whites and grays, I just like it better. The line type, so in the case of the center points, we've used this center line here. This doesn't come loaded as default for any new layer. You have to actually load this from like a library of different types of lines. So let's click on this load button here. Okay, so these are all of the loaded types of lines that you can have. Some are more appropriately scaled than others. In the case of the center lines, I used center 0.5 times, which is confusingly enough called center 2. Would you not expect it to be called center half? Anyway, doesn't matter. So center lines. So then you have to select it and load it. So I've already done that, so I'm just going to hit cancel out of here. Then what happens is AutoCAD, in its typically bewildering way, will, after you've loaded this center line, will continue to have continuous selected. That's the default. So you must actively select center 2 and then say OK. And so here we have center 2. So now if this is this tick indicates the active layer. So if I can just sort of drag this over here for a minute. So if I draw a line in centers, it creates the dotted dash, the short dash line that we've nominated as center lines. Line weight is set to the default, and I'm not going to fiddle with that for the moment. Just leave it as is. Let's cross this off. Okay, so go back to the drop down and make 0 the active layer here. Okay, so let us begin, as they say. Usually with most types of drawings, it's better to start with identifying centers of circles, or if you can. It just seems to work out better that way. It's quicker. So here we are on the main layer. I'm going to click on circle here, or you could type C. I'm going to hover over here, drag out so that they're on line with each other, and drag out the first circle and type in, see, diameter 20. So it's asking for the radius. We want a radius therefore of 10. It's the right size. It's all looking good so far. I guess we'll start in the middle and just work our way out. So the next part will be this polygon here. So type poly, comes up with polygon, hit enter. Number of sides in our polygon is 8. Hit enter. Specify the center of the polygon. So the center is center of this circle. Click. It wants to know if it's inscribed within the circle or circumscribed about the circle, and as you can see, that polygon is around the outside of that circle. So we're going to go circumscribed, and then we will drag out our radius of 10. Okay, so far so good. The next thing to do is to create, so we've got this bit, and we've got this bit. The next thing to do is to create these here, these radiuses. So we're going to draw another circle. We're going to start in the middle, hover, push in the direction that we want to go, and then type in the radius of this pitch circle. So the radius will be 26, enter. And then specify the radius of that, which is 6, enter. So far so good. Okay, now we want to create an array of these circles here. So let's do that. So we'll type array, choose, well, ARR, and choose array classic. It sounded pirate, didn't it? RRR. Anyway, so it's a polar array. We're going to select the objects, hit space to go back to that dialog, select the center point of our array, 4 objects through 360. I don't think we need to preview this, it's going to be correct. Hit OK. Okay, so that was pretty straightforward. Next part is we're going to create this arc here, so radius of 24. To do this, we're going to create a new type of circle. At least I think it's new type of circle called a TTR circle, which stands for tangent radius. We don't actually know where the center point of this circle is, so we're going to let the software work it out for us. So let's start. Go C, enter. Alright, so it says specify the center point for the circle, and as I said a second ago, we don't know where that is. But if we look down here, we have some other options, including TTR, which is tangent radius. So if we type TTR then, and then hit enter, it says specify a point. Well, you can read that, so I'll do that. So come over here, see the tangent symbol and click. Come over here, this tangent symbol and click. So what is the radius? The radius is 24. Hit enter. Creates our circle. Well, that's pretty cool. So now we just want to get rid of this part here. So we'll go TR, enter for trim. Select this circle and this circle, hit enter, and then cut this away. That's looking pretty good. The next part would be to recreate that array. So we're going to go array, classic, select the objects, hit enter. Okay, so it remembers the center point and the number of items and the angle and all that sort of stuff, so we can just hit OK again, and it's created this. Lovely. Alright, we'll trim out the centers here, or the insides of these circles, I should say. TR. So these are the fences. Hit space when you're done, and then trim away the insides like so. Okay, so that's pretty good. It's looking a lot like that. The construction method has been sound. Now we need to put the dimensions on it. So we're going to change layers for this. Change to annotation. Right, the next part of the annotation is to go to radius. Select the circle. There we go. 24. Hit space to continue with our annotating. This radius 6. Change from radius to diameter because this is a complete circle. Yes. Put it down here maybe so it's out of the way. Okay, the next one is this PCD. There's not a PCD option here. So what we'll do is use a leader to specify this PCD. But we don't have the PCD drawn in yet, so let's do that now. Change layers to centers. Alright, circle. So we'll click in the middle here, drag out, hover over, and choose that. Okay. May as well put the center lines in here while we're at it. So L, enter. We're gonna click in here. Actually, we're not going to do it that way at all. Let's try that again. Line, we're going to hover over this center, drag out to here, click, drag through here, click, enter, enter again to continue drawing the line. So we'll go up here, click, go down here, click, enter. Alright, so there's our center lines drawn. Everybody's a happy camper with this. We can now put in our leader that describes the PCD. So let's do that. So we want to, you see how it's trying to grab this when I really don't want that. But I'm happy with that, so that's pretty good. And now we simply put in our text. So we'll go PCD space 52. Annoyingly, it's decided that the text should be bigger than all the other dimensions. Nobody knows why this stuff happens, so we'll just select it, come over here, change the text height to 2.5, so it's the same as everybody else. Close the text editor. And I think we've got it. We've got PCD, we've got diameter 20, radius of 6, radius of 24, center lines, PCDs, it's all good. Alright, as always, practice along with the video, then do it by yourself, so that you will have learned you don't become a basketballer by simply watching basketball. Enjoy.